If you're considering moving your family to Bali, probably one of your first questions is about schooling. And there are so many options here in Bali for schools. In this video, I'm going to talk about where schools are located, what language and curriculum they use, how much it all costs, and I'm also going to go over our journey for schooling here in Bali. If we haven't met before, my name's Allison. I've been living in Bali for the past 2 years, and my kids are now 5 and 7. Over the course of our time here, we've been at 5 different schools, so I have a bit of experience, and I will share all about it. So the good news is that there are a ton of schooling options here in Bali. So most of the schools are going to be in South Bali. So Canggu, Ubud, Sanur, Kerobokan, Uluwatu. These are the areas that have most of the international schools available on the island. So you may want to consider that when deciding where to live in Bali. If you're a foreigner living in Bali, you probably don't qualify to go to local schools, so you'll end up at an international school. There are a lot of options here for international schools, and most schools are taught in English. The teachers are typically native English speakers, and they will always have a local Indonesian assistant teacher in the classroom. Another question I often get is around special needs. If you have a child with special needs, I need to be honest, there are not a ton of options in schools here compared to what you might be used to back in your home country. A lot of people I know with kids with special needs are either choosing to homeschool or get additional help by a tutor. If your kids are interested in extracurricular activities, there are quite a few to choose from. Sometimes they are offered by the school, and sometimes you go outside the school. Our kids have tried surfing, skateboarding, paddle, swimming, arts and crafts. There's also tennis, martial arts, gymnastics, and of course soccer. Lots of soccer available here, or football, depending on where you're from. So when it comes to choosing a school, I would first decide where you want to live and then see what schools are available in that area. So if you know you want to be near the beach, pick a beach town like Sanur or Canggu, and pick a school that's close by. The thing about Bali is traffic can be horrific. So if you're too far from the school that you want to go to, it's going to be really difficult every day fighting traffic. Your kids are going to be in the car for over an hour, and that's really no fun for anyone. So pick a house that's close to the school you want to go to. If you want a complete list of schools that are available in Bali, I would check out my friend Simone from Our Year in Bali's website. She has a list of all the schools in Bali, where they're located, and a lot more information about schools. I'll link that in the notes below. A shout out to Simone. She also offers a lot of information for families and one-on-one support calls, a lot of services that I do not offer, and I would definitely recommend Simone from Our Year in Bali. I think she's a wealth of information and definitely worth hiring her for her services. So today I want to talk about what I know about schools in Bali, and that's basically the schools in Sanur. We have lived in Sanur the entire time we've been in Bali. Sanur is along the beach. There's a lot of families here, a lot of retirees, and a lot of local Balinese people. It's a good mix for us. It's easy to get to other parts of the island, and we're really close to the airport. All things that are really nice for us. So in Sanur, there are a variety of different kinds of schools. The biggest and most established international school is the Bali Island School, BIS, or BIS as it's called here. It's the most expensive option. It goes from preschool until 12th grade. It uses the IB curriculum. They have a lot of extracurricular activities, great community, but like I said, it is the most expensive option, and it costs between $8,000 to $18,000 US a year, depending on what your child is in school. Another really popular option is Diatmika. Diatmika is not really in Sanur. It's a little bit north of here, but a lot of families in Sanur go there, especially ones who are going to be here long term, because this school is bilingual. So if you want your kids to be fluent in Indonesian and English, this is a great option. It's a little bit cheaper than Bali Island School. They use the Cambridge curriculum, It's also preschool until 12th grade, and the cost is between $5,000 and $12,000 US per year. One thing to keep in mind with Diatmica is that traffic can be an issue. Some of my friends whose kids go there, they say sometimes it can take up to an hour each way. If there's no traffic, it would be 10 to 15 minutes. But when there is traffic, it can be a lot longer. There are carpools and different things like that. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking of this school. There's also a lot of wait lists. So with all schools, that's something to keep in mind as well. You need to message them and see if there's space for your child. The school that our kids are currently attending is called Boundless Life. If you've ever heard of Boundless Life, it's a program for digital nomad families. They have campuses all over the world, and usually families go there for 3 months, and education, housing, and a co-working space is included. Here in Bali, they are allowing families to not do the housing and co-working space, and you can just use the education facilities, which is what we've been doing. So we've been there for a year now. We love the school. It's the Finnish curriculum, which means it's kind of a Montessori student-led approach, and our kids are thriving there. This school is for 18 months up to grade 6. So it's basically primary school and for younger kids as well. So if your kids are older, this would not be a good option for you. It's right in Sanur. They have very small class sizes with a lot of field trips, which we love. And this would cost about $10,000 to $15,000 US per year. There are different prices depending on if you do the 3-month program or if you do the full 9 months of the year. They also do have programs that are more cultural immersion and not school that happen in December, July, and August. So if you're just coming for a month and want to find something for your kids for that time, that's also an option with Boundless Life. Another school you may want to check out is called Little Stars. This school is from preschool up until about age 12 or 13. This school is a bit more like classroom academics focused, and they do have air conditioning in their classrooms, which the school across the street that I'm going to talk about in a minute does not. So if that's important to you, sometimes kids get a little bit hot here in Bali. That's a great option. And this is a much more affordable option than the schools I've talked about so far. Their tuition is between $2,300 and $3,200 US per year. So quite a big difference from the schools that I've been talking about already. Right across the street from Little Stars is Rumah Kecil and Tarawara. Rumah Kecil is the preschool, kindergarten, and then Tarawara is the primary school. So this school goes from, again, 18 months until about grade 4, I think, at this point. They're in 2 separate buildings. So there's like the younger kids at Rumah Kecil, and then the older kids are at Tarawara. Our kids have been both at Rumah Kecil and Tarawara. Again, it is a much cheaper cost than some of the other international schools. All the teachers are Indonesian at this school, but they do teach in English. So it's an English-only school. My kids didn't really learn Indonesian there. They have great outdoor space, and this school costs between $3,000 and $4,000 US per year. There's a couple other kind of nursery school, daycare type options for younger kids, like 6 and under here in Sanur. One is called Cheeky Monkeys, and the other one is Scooby-Doo. And both of those, again, are for younger kids. They have nice outdoor space, local teachers. They both cost somewhere in like $2,000 to $3,000 US per year, but they do have options for half day, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, and sometimes for short-term options, depending on what their enrollment is. So if you're just here for a few weeks or a couple months and want to have your kids socializing and being with other kids, these could be great options as well. Another thing I haven't talked about is that there are some kind of ad hoc learning groups where there's a teacher who will teach a group of kids. So it's not a traditional school with a school building, but they've kind of made up their own learning environment. And those are kind of always changing and shifting. But if you get here and just ask around, that's also an option. Also, some people do choose to homeschool and have a tutor or have their kids in different activities and homeschool on the side. There's a lot of different models of education here that I haven't talked about, but that are options. I hope that's helpful for you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I hope that gives you a little bit of an overview of what's available in one town here in Bali. And what the cost is and what the different education types are, I'm happy to answer any questions below.